Now that I've been a first-time mom for almost 8 months, I've realized that there are a few baby products that I'd really like to have for the next baby. So today I'm sharing some items on my wish list for baby number 2. Hey guys, I'm Marissa and welcome back to my channel. I'm a first-time mom to my son Peter, who was born in May 2020. He's now almost 8 months old, which is crazy. And I feel like I've definitely learned a lot over these last 8 months. And over this time, I feel like I've learned the things that have been really helpful and the things that maybe haven't been super helpful. I have done a video on all of my baby favorites and must-haves. I will leave a link to that up above so you can check it out. And there are a lot of things that I plan to use for a future baby number 2, which, by the way, no, I'm not pregnant. I'm just a mega planner and I love to think about these things with lots of time in advance. But today I want to share with you some things that I have been looking at and browsing and things that I think that I would want to get for baby number 2. So things that I don't have currently that I plan to get. So if you are a first-time mom, here are some things that I wish I would have gotten that I currently don't have. But before we get into it, I also want to let you guys know I actually have a course called Budgeting for Baby, and it's all about how you can plan your finances for this really exciting time in life of having a baby, which can also be a really expensive and overwhelming time trying to figure out the finances of it all. So I have put together an entire course. It's video and text, and it also includes a really awesome workbook for you to keep track of your budgeting and all the financial aspects of having a baby, including health insurance, which can be really confusing. So I have that course available, but at the time of this video going out, it's actually currently on sale. It is $15 off, making it only $52. So it's a great deal. You get the course, the workbook, you get access to a private Facebook group. And so if you are pregnant or you are planning to be soon, I would highly recommend checking out that course. You can get the sale price now through Saturday, January 16th. So I will have a link to that in the description box down below so you can check out my Budgeting for Baby course. And all of these products that I will be talking about today, I will have linked in the description box down below so you can check them out there. So here's the first thing that I really want for baby number 2. That is the LV pump. So I got a breast pump when I had my first son, Peter, and I actually still use it every day. I exclusively nurse, but now that Peter sleeps through the night, I pump right before bed so that I can be fully relieved and won't be like engorged when I wake up. And then I also use that milk then for like cereal in the morning for him. So I currently have the Spectra S1 and I do really love this pump. It's portable, which I love, so you can just charge the machine and then carry it around with you wherever you go, which I love because I mostly just pump when I'm in bed. And I actually was able to get this breast pump through insurance. My insurance company covered a free breast pump for me, so definitely check in with your insurance to see what your breast pump benefit may be. But the breast pump that they covered was a more standard pump and the Spectra S1 was an upgrade. So I actually think I paid like $70 as an upgrade fee to get this pump, which I think was well worth it. So I love my Spectra, but I think that it would be extra wonderful to have the LV pump. If you don't know what the LV is, it's a wearable breast pump. And again, I haven't used it myself, so I guess I can't like speak to how wonderful it is, but it seems so wonderful. And I've also had friends who have talked about it and they love it. So it's wearable. You literally just like put it in your bra and there are no cords whatsoever. So like I said, even though I love my Spectra S1, like it's still the machine and then you have the tubes that connect and then you have the bottles that like hang off of you. And so I remember in the early days when I was having to pump and also like be with Peter, it was like I couldn't hold him and pump at the same time. So I feel like especially once I have 2 kids, that's going to be insane, and the pumping sessions maybe aren't going to be as relaxing as what they even were for my first. So I think that having the LV would be so beneficial to be able to like pump and literally walk around, do like basically anything because it's just wearable in your bra. That being said, it's definitely not cheap. And I feel like I should also kind of start this video by saying these things that I have on my list maybe aren't the cheapest, but whenever I have baby number 2, I will have already had a bunch of items because I already had a baby. So I feel like I could splurge on some other things because most everything we'd already have. So this pump is $500 for a like double pump for like both of them. You could also buy a single, which I'm not really sure why you'd buy like only one, but I would definitely buy 2. And so that is $500. The one benefit is that you can use FSA or HSA dollars on this, which we have an HSA, a health savings account. And I love the HSA because you put money into the HSA with tax-free dollars. It then grows tax-free and you can take the money out tax-free to be spent on qualified medical expenses, which the LV pump is recognized as a qualified medical expense. So I would definitely use our HSA dollars to purchase the LV pump whenever I got around to that. And I would also definitely call my insurance company to see what kind of pump benefit I would get and see if the price of the LV could be reduced based on what kind of pump my insurance company would offer me for free. The next item that I have on my wish list for baby number 2 is the Nanit monitor. Right now we have the Vava, I think that's how you'd say it, monitor, and the one that we currently have is not hooked up to Wi-Fi, and it is a video monitor and it works great. I really do like it, but the difference then that would be with the Nanit is that the Nanit is a Wi-Fi monitor and you can view it from like the app on your phone or whatever that may be. The thing that I actually liked about the Vava monitor is that it wasn't on an app. It's just like an extra screen that we can like take around with us, and I always thought that that would be great, like having a babysitter they could just like see on the screen. And then, you know, we had a baby during the pandemic and we don't have a babysitter, so it doesn't really matter at this point. But there are a couple things that I really love about the Nanit. First, I like that it is a Wi-Fi monitor because I could view it on my app. I know that there are though some kind of creepy, I've heard some like creepy things that happen with like Wi-Fi monitors of people like hacking in and viewing the baby's camera, and it just seems so creepy. So obviously we'd make sure that all of our networking is really secure for that. But I think that it is cool that you could just view on the app at any time. Like Jacob and I could both have access to it, but we also would want to use probably like an old iPad or something so that we could constantly view the feed from the Nanit. The other thing that I really like about it is that it knows like when the baby falls asleep, which that is what is so hard. I never realized like as a first-time mom how much time you spend trying to track like when the baby fell asleep and when he wakes up and like tracking wake windows. Like I didn't know that that was all going to be a thing. And so there are many times where I'm like looking at the monitor, I'm like, is he actually asleep? Like, should I start the timer? So I think that the Nanit is awesome because it takes the guesswork out of it, and it literally will tell you like, oh, Peter fell asleep at this time, and it's like, oh, okay, like that's really nice to know. It also has two-way audio, which my current monitor does as well, and it also tells you the temperature and the humidity level of the room. Nanit even has a special feature where it has like breathing technology where it can monitor baby's breathing so that you can like rest assured that baby is doing okay. And I think that this is like an upgraded feature for the Nanit. We actually do have the Owlet and I love using it. We use it every night and that gives me a lot of peace of mind, and I definitely would plan to use that for baby number 2. So therefore I don't think that I would get like the upgraded more expensive version for that breathable technology because we have the Owlet. So the Nanit Plus is $299, which is not cheap, and I totally get that. And the regular monitor that I have is a lot cheaper than that. But the other thing that I like about the Nanit is that it is also labeled as HSA and FSA approved, so we could use our HSA dollars on the Nanit as well. The next item that I have on my list is the Hatch changing pad and scale. Now I actually saw this when I was pregnant with my son Peter, and I decided to forgo it because it's $150, which seems crazy to have as a changing pad. But once my son Peter was born, we actually had some struggles with feeding. I ended up having to go to over 4, I'd had 1 lactation appointment in the hospital and then 4 more after the hospital. And it was really stressful trying to make sure he was getting everything that he needed because he had some feeding issues. So that being said, we were really stressed out trying to make sure that he was okay with his feeding. But the thing that I love about this changing pad is that it's also a baby scale, and it can help you measure to see how much milk your baby is getting for each feeding. I remember when we went to our lactation appointments, they would always have Peter like dressed down like into a fresh diaper, and then they would weigh him on the scale to see what he weighed, and then he'd eat, and they'd weigh him again to see how much milk he actually got. So this is what you can also do with the scale. Mind you, I'm sure it's not as accurate as the very expensive scales that they have in the hospital, but I think that it would help provide some sort of reassurance to make sure that your baby's getting everything that he needs, because breastfeeding is just such a struggle because you don't know if they're getting everything that they truly need. So I think that I would definitely get this for baby number 2 because we experienced that with Peter. So we ended up actually buying a baby scale off of Amazon, labeled as a baby scale, and it was like $50. And looking back at that now, I wish I would have just skipped that and just bought this thing right there, because this baby scale that was labeled on Amazon was simply just a regular scale with, then they put like a little baby carrier thing on the top of it, and it doesn't give you like the most accurate weight that you would need to determine like feedings as you could with this Hatch scale. So instead, what we do every other day now with Peter is I hold him when he's naked right before we take a bath, and Jacob records my weight on the just like the regular scale, and then I set him down in the bath, and then we weigh myself and take the difference, and that's how much Peter weighs. And it's obviously then like, you know, 16.4 pounds or something, and then we're able to see how much he weighs, because that is as accurate information as we got from this baby scale that we had previously bought on Amazon. So I would definitely consider purchasing the Hatch baby scale for baby number 2. I have looked at it online. I don't know anyone who has it, but it looks like ratings are good, but honestly not super great. So I maybe would have to do a little bit more research, but we do have the Hatch sound machine, and I actually loved that thing so much that I bought myself the Hatch alarm clock to keep by my bed once we moved Peter's sound machine to his room, like when he moved to his room. So I love all the Hatch products and think that I would give this baby scale a try. The next thing that I plan to get for baby number 2, and that is a lot cheaper than the other things that I've shared, is just a baby swing. We didn't have a technical baby swing. We have the Mamaroo, which is great, but babies either like love it or hate it, and Peter was like okay with it when he was like a really sleepy newborn, but as soon as he was like out of the newborn phase, he hated that thing up until he was maybe like 5 months old. And so it just never really worked out. I did actually buy that on like a deep sale, and actually planning to loan it out to friends who are having babies, and we'll see if baby number 2 would like it. But I've heard that babies just like the actual full motion of a swing rather than a Mamaroo doesn't give you like that full motion. It just is like a moving seat. So it doesn't give like that same feeling. So I think that a baby swing might be more ideal for having a second baby. I'd probably just get like a Graco or like whatever baby swing is out there, and we would probably use that. The reason why I bought the Mamaroo is because our living room is pretty small, and I know that baby swings just take up so much space. So I feel like unless we were in like maybe another house, I would get a baby swing, but if we're still like in this house we are in, I don't know if we'd be able to fit a baby swing like in our living room. So we'll see, but I think that doing that would be a really great purchase for having our next baby. And then the final thing that I would love to spend money on for baby number 2 is a postpartum doula. And I didn't even know that this was a thing until I went to my labor and delivery class, which is like the last thing that I did in February of 2020. We got to go to labor and delivery class, and the person leading the class was talking about the benefits of having a postpartum doula, and it sounded amazing. Now, when I gave birth to Peter, I did the full epidural and didn't have like a doula or like anyone like that, and I wouldn't really want to do that for a baby number 2, like definitely go in full epidural, all that again. But having a postpartum doula would be amazing. I was definitely not prepared for how difficult postpartum would be. I actually just recently did a postpartum video, so I'll leave a link to that up above so you can check it out there. But it was really hard, and especially during the time of the pandemic, it was hard because you couldn't see a lot of people, and thankfully like my family had quarantined, so they came over and helped us. But basically a postpartum doula can be there to take care of the baby while you sleep. They'll even like make meals for you, just basically like that extra set of hands, like that extra help that you would need. And they're taking care of you and your baby. You could have like a daytime doula or a nighttime doula, which during those newborn days would be fantastic. So I think that having a postpartum doula for just like even a couple weeks after having a baby would be money well spent. And yeah, I didn't do that for Peter, especially during a pandemic. Didn't really want to invite more people into our house, but hopefully baby number 2 wouldn't be during the pandemic, and then I'd feel more comfortable doing that, because I feel like that would be definitely some money well spent. So those are the baby items that I plan to get for baby number 2. Again, I'm not pregnant, but just a mega planner. And if you enjoy planning and are looking to start planning your finances for having a baby, whether you are pregnant or you're planning to be soon, then again, definitely check out my course, Budgeting for Baby. I will have a link to that in the description box down below, and the coupon code that you can use to get $15 off. So check it out there. And with that, I will look forward to seeing you guys in my next video. Bye.